Hey lads and ladies, Tired Jaw here with a interesting video. Yeah, I've got to get this video up and out pretty fast. I don't have a lot of time today, but I saw something very funny and kind of interesting that I think you guys might enjoy. So on this video, right, because I watch a lot of politics, and I mean a lot of politics. The only way you would see is if you had access to my my video viewing history. I guess I would have to like go out of my way to show you. But anyways, uh, so this video was posted by James Alsop on August 13th, who killed Jeffrey Epstein, right? And it is what it is. I'm not going to go into any detail about what is in the video, but because it's not really what this video is about. Instead, this video starts with the comments section, and the comments section is it's quite a delight. It's quite a delight indeed. Yeah. So, first of all, we have username redacted here with this comment about Tucker Carlson having been suspended from Fox News for saying white supremacy is a hoax. Call 212-301-3000 immediately and let them know how you feel about this injustice. And of course, not really knowing what this was about, but finding it rather interesting, because when I scrolled down, I saw that this comment section had about 120, I think, replies, or around 100, something like that. And did I remove my like? Fix that. And I just want to take you down the lovely little rabbit hole that is this reply chain. It's a beautiful little thing, and I think you already saw kind of the main character in today's video. I think is very interesting. But I wanted to read out certain comments that kind of help you guys get an idea of where everything got started. So this guy, Captain Taz, I agree it's been hyped up way too much. White supremacists aren't hiding around every corner and really only make up about 1% of Americans. Tucker Carlson is the only reason why I've watched Fox News. There we go. Yeah, Hector Alarcon is also, he adds a little bit to the discussion here. He says, I mean, it isn't a hoax. He's just biased. LOL. On the same coin, you would call black supremacy a hoax, despite making up 13% of the population and 70% of hate groups. And this actually becomes a very interesting conversation, which I do like. You could probably make the case that Hector Larkin is a troll, but actually, I don't think he is. I may be wrong, because there are a lot of trolls on the internet. It's very hard to tell a troll from a truth teller in Clown World. So let's see here. What do you mean? I believe you meant to say based. Also, we can tell that you are a Philly D viewer. Let's see if I can find this one. There's several here, but it's where everything gets started here. There's one kind of important one that I needed to highlight before we reach my comment, or my reply. I missed it. Let me scroll back up. I have to find it. I think it was, Christopher T said something important right here. So he says, first of all, Hector, it is a hoax. The Democratic media machine wants you to believe that everyone more right-wing than Mao Zedong, I think I pronounced that right, or Mao Zedong, is a white supremacist. And there's been a slew of hoax and hate crimes over the last 3 years. The hysteria being pushed by leftists is nothing but a campaign tactic. They do it every election cycle, and unfortunately for them, it no longer works. Plus, there have been dozens of studies on this, and every reputable study showed that there was a minuscule amount of actual white supremacists in America. You've been brainwashed and indoctrinated, my friend, if you believe all the bullshit narratives being pushed by the Democrat media machine. Sincerely, a former Democrat. Even the SPLC has said that the majority of hate groups in America are, in fact, black supremacist groups. You can't get any more far left than the SPLC, and even they admit 70% of hate groups are black. even though the SPLC is corrupt and a fraudulent hate group itself, they are deeply partisan, but even they couldn't hide the fact that there are a ton of militant black supremacy groups. Weird how the corporate media never mentions these groups and their violent crimes, such as the shooting at the Tennessee church last year. It's almost as if the media has an agenda that they are hiding from you. And yeah, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. There's so much evidence for it. It's actually crazy how much evidence there is for it. But it's not something that I can just pull up a chart and show you. It's something that you experience just from observation. I'd say for me, like what got me into this whole shtick of realizing what's going on is the censorship, right? Because the more you try to censor certain people for having certain opinions, the more it's going to backfire, and instead the idea is going to spread around. Because when you silence a person, you're not telling people that what he says is bad. What you're telling people is that you fear what he has to say. So, and this applies to how I got involved in a lot of this stuff. And a lot of this, what so many people, even several of my Facebook friends, would consider to be like alt-right or conspiracy theory leaning, is because there's evidence for it. It's not just a tiny little kernel of truth. There's mountains of it. And you just have to keep your ears open enough to just hear it. And then it pulls you in if you allow yourself to get invested enough to figure out the truth. And the truth is the conspiracy theorists are right on this. That the truth is being suppressed. So yeah, anyways. So Hector Larkin responds to him. Let's see if I can find it. I can't remember if it was before or after Christopher T's response. And his response was actually a pretty good one. I can't find it actually. Hold on, I found it before. I actually did try to record this before, and then I forgot to turn on voice meter before starting. So yeah, that's not good. That is not a good. Never heard of the Black Hebrews? That's some hate-filled niggas right there, motherfucker. Yeah. If you guys want to find out about the Black Hebrews, I have a pretty good viral example to point to for you guys if you want to look that up. What were they called? No, it's not what were they called, but what was the incident called? It had to do with this kid and then this Indian guy, Native American dude, like banging his drum in front of the kid's face. And then the media like tried to twist it to make it look like the kid was the bad guy and the oppressor, even though the kid was just standing there and smirking. And because he was uncomfortable, and it's obvious from the context that he was just uncomfortable and didn't really know how else to respond. That was his coping mechanism. But the old man, like he marched directly into the crowd deliberately. Claimed later on that he was trying to get through the crowd, even though there were obvious ways he could have gone around. Instead, he dove directly through it, proving him to be a liar. But here it is. Finally, here it is. Yeah, he responds to Bossack. He says, "Thank you," because Bossack's comment is just simply a link. That's all it is. A link to another video that I didn't watch. He says, "Thank you. Yes, Israelites are just toxic as fuck. However, that doesn't prove that white nationalism is a hoax, because it isn't, or like he's trying to say this is a hoax. Because it isn't. In fact, SPLC has both. No, I'm sorry. He's saying because it isn't not a hoax. He's like pulling a double negative, and I just got confused because I forgot whose comment I was reading. Because it isn't. In fact, the SPLC has both black nationalists and white nationalists. So they are both real groups and both need to be addressed as stupid extremists playing for a team." So this kind of comment right here is what makes me think that this guy is actually genuine. He's not a troll. Like, Stupid extremist playing for a team, like just like things like that. He doesn't go all the way, but at the same time, he could be trolling, and if it is, he's a pretty good troll. He's able to present himself and at least appear to be somewhat moderate as far as understanding that there's more to it than meets the eye. And I responded, I was like, oh shit, you didn't just use the SPLC as a source, did you? I have no words. I didn't think that anybody actually believed what they write. The people running the SPLC have deliberately, falsely labeled many conservatives as dangerous hate group members, such as white supremacy, and I should have written more white supremacists there. I watched some of the guys they list. Those particular guys are by no means white supremacists or any other hate group for that matter. And Mighty Whitey's response here is also good. Great, now you're using the SPLC's own hate map, or whatever the hell it's called. Do some per capita figuring. Whites are 63% of the U.S. population, and blacks are merely 13%. There are far fewer so-called white supremacist groups than there are black ones when you adjust for population size. So try Googling CNN types of hate groups in the United States, and then apply the same mathematics per capita. Yeah, it's absolutely very good point from Mighty Whitey. Very good point. I have not done that, by the way. But, I'm already convinced that argument is true because I haven't heard a better one coming from left-leaning individuals. I just haven't. Seriously, not even in comment sections, which is where I go to find out what the people are saying. But then you have to always be aware of trolls like... bear with me, please. Where is he? Where are you? Here he is. Like this guy, Bob Judd. So he goes... I would take the time to read it. I tried to before, but I couldn't. It's way too much. Just look at this guy. He goes on and on. So first he responds to the original comment saying that Tucker Carlson should be hung by the nards instead of fire, yada, yada, yada. He goes on and on, responding to like every single person that he doesn't immediately agree with. Christopher T again. And that RR isn't quick enough to realize that this guy is a troll and responds, you unironically believe Trump and Tucker are actual white supremacists. You should be put in a nut house. Your ability to discern reality is just gone. And then he responds to his statement on here. We just had 5 white supremacist terror attacks in the USA. That's completely false. We did not have 5 white supremacists. We debatably had one. It's really debatable because there's a difference between a white supremacist and a white nationalist, right? Like, a white supremacist is an actual full-on racist who's like, we want only whites, and that's it. And then white nationalists are just simply people who are going, hey, there's kind of a problem right now. I don't want the whites and white culture and Western culture and everything like that to completely die off. That's basically what white nationalists are on about. So white nationalists are more moderates, and then white supremacists are the extremists, but that's not what the media wants you to believe. So it's not what the media wants you to know. Again, the only reason I know this is by actually listening to these people and hearing what they have to say and determining these conclusions, coming to these conclusions for myself. Can you please tell me, though, those white supremacists, about those white supremacists? What attacks were they? Were there some white nationalists going on about how they don't want to be replaced? Is that it? What shooting are you even talking about? And he kind of goes on here and he just says, like, I don't comprehend what you're talking about. I don't know a single group. Are you trolling? You have to be trolling, right? That or your brain has actually been eroded by watching CNN on blast 24/7. He doesn't get back to him right away, but he responds to me. And the thing you gotta know before reading my comment and his here in full is that when I received his message, I wasn't aware of the absolute shitstorm that happened just above here. because YouTube doesn't actually notify you. If you make a comment on some thread, they're not going to notify you, especially when it's a thread this big, unless the person addresses your name directly. Then you're going to get a notification. There's a cricket in here. All right, enjoy the cricket. It's very late, by the way. It is nearly 1:30 in the morning. I should be in bed. I have work tomorrow. Anyways, he responds here. Actually, Jaw, you're totally and miserably wrong because the SPLC has labeled every hate group intentionally because they, I think he means they as in, because they have pushed racism and violence and committed acts of racism and violence. Oh, you mean the SPLC has pushed racism and violence, committed acts of racism and violence? You're absolutely right. Maybe not committed acts of violence, but definitely have pushed racism and violence. Absolutely true, Bob Judd. Absolutely agree. That's how you get labeled as a hate group. Breaking news: SPLC labels itself a hate group. Every white supremacist group is a hate group. The SPLC has uncovered over 900 hate groups in the USA today. Yeah, I know I'm kind of debating or talking about the argument of a troll here, but assuming for a moment that he's being honest here about this statistic, that there are actually 900 documented hate groups in the USA today. Just how many people are in those groups? Just an estimate. I don't need an exact number. Just a rough estimate. And then how big is the United States of America? And then again, what that one guy was talking about, apply the mathematics to per capita. How many actual white supremacists or hate groups? He says all of them are white supremacist hate groups, and there are 0 black supremacist hate groups. So he's completely going against the facts that were brought up earlier, where even a leftist, Hector Alarcon, even he said that the SPLC identified people as the SPLC identified black nationalists and white nationalists, and that they're both bad, or white supremacists, sorry. And it's just funny to me because this guy just completely goes against that. He's gonna assume that we're all dumb enough to not actually have read through and double checked on everything. There's just Black Lives Matter, who is a patriot justice group who are trying to protect black folks from white supremacists. It's funny. I actually got into a debate on Facebook with one of my own family members. They actually tried to tell me that Black Lives Matter is not a racist group. I'm like, are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Some people in my family, I don't know how I'm supposed to convince them. I really don't. You put the facts right. You put the facts. You put the news. You put the evidence right there, and they're just like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not true. Antifa, as well, is designed to protect protesters, and they do an amazing job of keeping people safe at rallies. Yeah, they're definitely not the protesters themselves. No. We need to send a message that white supremacy will not be tolerated in the USA. If you are a white supremacist, you are a traitor to the USA, and you hate the USA. I think we should deport all white supremacists to the blackest heart of Africa, where they can sort out their irrational fears of black folks. I kind of actually agree with this guy's assessment here, because being an actual supremacist of any type completely goes against what the USA is as a nation, what it was made to be from the very beginning. The USA was and always has been a great boiling pot of cultures. The United States has always been a place where anybody, regardless of your race or your background, can live a decent life here as long as you adapt to the overall culture of the United States and follow the law. That's all you have to do. Is you just have to adapt in some ways to America's overarching culture, because it does have its own culture, despite what some people claim, and then, follow the laws. It's simple as that. And I think we should deport all white supremacists to the blackest heart of Africa where they can sort out their irrational fears of black folks. I'm actually not a fan of really deporting anybody as long as they're not illegals. The only people I think who should be deported are people who are not supposed to be here, as in people who got here illegally. If you're a racist, you're a fearmonger. You are afraid of other races, so you are against them. It's just an irrational, petrified, pussy fear function that strikes coward whites. I don't like how you just assumed it was, all coward whites. Like, only whites can be this way. I don't like you, Bob Judd. So, yeah, as soon as I read that, right, I didn't see any of his previous stuff, because, again, it was a notification that popped up on my phone. But I responded, I was like, nice bait, mate. Nice bait, mate. I try my best, and I'm pretty good at getting my point across. But you have to put it in words that even dumb fuck Trump supporters can understand. So thanks for your support. And he just goes on and on. He reveals himself quite clearly to be a troll here. Even RR, and I don't know why he keeps on responding. Even Bob Judd himself calls him out you don't learn, do you? What you call trolling is just an intelligent conversation. Yeah, sure. What you call an intelligent conversation, by that you mean flat out lying. He's got a really weird sense of justice. He's got a really weird system. And that's assuming he actually is being genuine here. Because if he actually meant it when he said that trolling is an intelligent conversation for decent people. So what this guy's doing is intelligent, is a sign of intelligence. Deliberately lying is intelligent. You're pretty far gone, buddy. That is not reality. I think this guy really needs to watch Silence of the Lambs, and then he'll know what an actual really good troll looks like, because that's kind of what Hannibal Lecter did in Silence of the Lambs. He was very clever, very intelligent, and he picked people apart like they were made out of paper, and there was the writing, everything about them was just clear and very easy to comprehend. And there is a bug on the wall, and I'm angry. Every time I see a little bug, I just want to go squish it. There you go. I'm an anti-bug supremacist. That's what I am. I hate bugs. They always crawl on you, and they irritate you, and they bite you just because. I'm not even kidding. Especially mosquitoes. Fuck those things. Mosquitoes and flies, and then spiders. Just no. Get out of here. Die. That's how I feel about bugs. But anyways, fuck, I'm tired. Man, I really wish the first go through worked, because I had all my arguments more cohesive and well put together. This is just me stumbling around like a fool. But I'll go through and let you guys, if you guys want to read all this nonsense, you can. I'm going to go all the way to the very bottom. That was just funny. This funny little story for you guys. Yeah, I guess all I want to say to end this video off is just, be careful in comment sections, because trolls are actually still very real. Sometimes it gets to feeling like there's no trolls anymore, right? Because the internet is very much designed. What's the word? It's very much. I don't know. It's so complicated, the internet, but there's an incentive to be honest in the comments section. There's an incentive to be honest, because it's not even because people can upvote or downvote you, but it's because of the freedom that people have to say whatever they want. So whenever you go to a place and you say stupid nonsense like this guy, you should expect to be debunked. And then when you get debunked, it's like, well, okay, so my goal of spreading lies didn't work. So trolls just end up fading away, and their nonsense ends up being nonsense. They end up like a clanging gong. Their words mean nothing. Words mean nothing. I mean, seriously, even if you like happen to agree with this guy for some fucked up reason, can you honestly say that this guy's words actually mean anything to you after reading through all of this massive wall of bleh, this word salad, this guy who has probably no job and way too much time, way too much free time. So wow. I did also remember something else kind of funny that I wanted to point out. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it. It was pretty funny. I think this... No, this wasn't it. Where was it? It was funny. Maybe it was this one. Fake news. Instead, get their news from a trusted media outlet like CNN. That's the first one to me. Where was it? He completely moved the goalpost. That was one thing that I found funny. Just like little points of complete nonsense like that really just kind of proves that they're trolls. I don't really have any advice on how to detect a troll from a genuine person. I really don't. I don't have anything that I can verbalize easily anyways. It's just all about how cohesive their arguments are, and then just how much they're based on reality. Because a real human being, like, they wouldn't just go out of their way to say things that are very obviously nonsense. I think a real human being would have more of their arguments based on, at least just based on reality. There would be some foundation of truth. There would be at least a kernel of truth to what they're saying. This guy is just like full on throwing out nonsense, just balls to the walls. Let's see. I can't find it. I can't find it, but he completely moved the goalpost, and he was like, he started saying that the entire context of this conversation was about Epstein. Just completely moved the goalpost, which I thought that was just really funny. Because obviously we were talking about Tucker Carlson, and then that moved into an overall discussion about, about white supremacists and black supremacists. But because it was underneath a video about Epstein, he was like, "Oh, by the way, the whole time, this whole conversation was about Epstein. Wasn't it all about what was being talked about?" I can't find it. I really can't. Oh, that's infuriating. Did he delete it? Oh, I can't find it. Oh well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing Tired Jaw going over all this absolute nonsense. Oh my goodness. Every college is a white college. There's no such thing as black privilege. There's only one race, the human race, but also white supremacy is the thing. Yeah, it's just so obvious that this guy is trolling. Man, dude. I want to pick apart a troll someday. Just like psychology wise, just like, what is it that makes you tick? How does your brain work? How is it that you live day by day knowing that all you do is just go around and lie? Like, that's all you do. 100% of the time. What are your actual thoughts like? Who are you? Maybe that's the mentality behind it. Like, they think that they're They want you to know that they're a troll, so to get you to think, well, what do you really believe then? And then you can be all like, well, I'm mysterious. I'm not going to tell you what I really believe. I'm 15. I'm 15, and this is edgy. Right, maybe that's some of it. I don't know. Hey, take care. Love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye bye.